We are keeping our eye on the south lawn of the White House. That is where more than 800 farmers have gathered to hear the president pitch some new relief for their industry, which has been battered by tariffs and rising costs from the war with Iran. Today's announcement comes just months after the administration announced a $12 billion bailout for farmers, many of whom are still hurting because of fuel and fertilizer costs. And joining us now is John Yealy, an Illinois farmer. He's president of the Clark County Farm Bureau. His family's been farming since 1852. Wow, John, what a rich heritage you have in that family. But let me talk about what you've said, which is describing this moment as a real crisis for farmers. What do you want to hear from the president today?
We asked for prioritization of domestic production of fertilizer. That's one reason we're having this problem right now, because we do produce it domestically, but we also are a net exporter on fertilizer. So we're asking for a priority on our domestic production so we can have that as a resource going into our farming season.
So
we'd like to see more free trade as well.
Okay, both of which make perfect sense. The administration has already approved, as you know, a $12 billion payout.
Yes.
Do you feel the president's policies have created the need for a second bailout? As we're seeing the president now come to the podium, we're going to keep monitoring this and let you know what he says, John. I don't believe we plan to take it, but we are listening. Anyway, we'll see if he talks about what you wanted. But will there be a need for a second bailout?
Well, I'd hope not. I'd rather have a better opportunity to market my product than to have a fund from the government. There may be. I mean, farming has been in a crisis situation for about 4 years now. The guys are in some real trouble, and with this unexpected increase in cost, it's hard to plan around that. So I'm hoping we don't have to have one. I'd rather not. And
you've been paying, what, 3 times more for fertilizer? So for someone who isn't in the farming industry, can you explain this trickle-down effect that has for the rest of us as, say, we go grocery shopping?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I can look at the chart I made. Going back to 2021, we are over 3 times higher than what we were in 21 paying on it. We saw a large spike during the Ukraine conflict, the largest we've ever seen. We're not back up to that level yet, but we're quickly approaching it. And what that means for the consumer is our cost of production is increased. Guys might start cutting back on their input cost to save some money because they can't afford to fertilize, which means you probably get a lower yield. Lower yield means there's going to be less product out there, a higher demand. You might see that in the grocers.
And even if the Iran conflict ends tomorrow, you're worrying that prices won't come down anytime soon. Why not?
Well, a lot of times now you'll see a larger decrease in the fuel supply cost than you will in fertilizer. Prices in fertilizer seem to always rapidly to go up and slow to come down. And we're going into our growing season right now, so the time the prices adjust, we'll probably be done planting.
And John, you went to D.C. last week and you met with lawmakers. Did they hear your concerns? And I'm curious how they responded to them.
Yeah, I met with Congressman Bost. He's my representative. He sits on the Ag Committee, and he's very aware of our issues and heard us very well. And also met with Senator Durbin and Senator Duckworth, and they both seemed concerned and really took in what we had to say. And we share with them our personal stories so they know what we're seeing on the farm. It's one thing for people to talk about it, but when you bring your real truthful stories to Congress and tell them what's happening in your life and how it affects you personally, it seems to have a bigger impact.
Yeah, I'm sure those stories they can pass along to their colleagues in Congress and hopefully do something with them. John Yealy, we're going to keep a listen and see if the president addresses your major two concerns. But in the meantime, thank you so much.